What's going on, everybody? This is Dave from This is Pop Punk Promotions. I'm here with Mike from the Ataris from Anderson, Indiana. How's it going, Mike?
It's good, and I'm not from Anderson. I'm from Santa Barbara, California, and that's where we met. Chris, myself, and Kid, our drummer. We met in Santa Barbara. Chris got signed. If you know the story real quick, Chris got signed off a demo tape. He handed it to the Vandals. The Vandals said, "Bring your band to California." Chris didn't have a band. It was him and a drum machine. So he came to California, and then I met Chris. And we met Kid literally the next day. Well, Chris and I were friends first, and then he asked me to do the band. The next day we met Kid, our drummer, and I think 11 days later we were on our first tour with Unwritten Law and the Dancehall Crashers. So that's the in a nutshell how the Ataris got together. But I'm right now in North Hollywood, California, in the San Fernando Valley. That's where I live. But Chris is the only one from Anderson, Indiana. So.
That's a really rad like first show playing with Unwritten Law.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
like
it.
how did that come about?
So since we signed to Kung Fu, they were trying to hook us up with any kind of shows we could get, just to put us out there because we were a brand new band. But obviously, Chris's songs are so good that Joe Escalante, the bass player for the Vandals, who owns Kung Fu, he wanted to call in any favors he had, and one of them was to they needed an opener for. It was only 6 shows, but it was our first tour and it was 6 shows, and we got the opening slot on that tour. We had 11 days to practice, and our first show was at the Ventura Theater because we were in Santa Barbara, and it was like all of a sudden it was like going from 0 to 75 miles an hour like in 2 weeks time. So and Unwritten Law was so cool. I always tell this story, and it's in my book that's coming out next year, but I tell this story about how the first night we played with them, the second show was in Las Vegas. And we were so excited. We played the show, this big theater, and then we're going to go to Las Vegas. And they're like, "Where are you guys staying?" And we're like, "Oh, we didn't even think about where we were going to stay." And they let us crash on their hotel room at the Riviera Casino. And they didn't know us from anybody. The first time they ever met us. They watched us play. They said, "You guys want to crash in our hotel room?" And we took them up on the offer. We all slept on their floor.
See, that's one of my favorite things about the punk rock and like the pop punk community is, people are constantly trying to help out others and take them under their wings and just, allow them to, blossom and grow and, become, amazing, individuals and bands and all that. So that's absolutely incredible. I mean, that 11 days, I mean, that's really short. That's not a lot of time to like, make sure that you have everything, all wrapped up and ready to rock and roll and go out there and just, kill it.
Yeah, what's wild is I think it's the third show of that tour is still on YouTube. You can look it up. It's the Ataris live at Palookaville in Santa Cruz, and I think it's our third show ever together. It's not video because it's so old, but it's audio, and the audio is pretty good. I listen to it now, 30 years later. Whoa, 30 years later, and I think. Wow, that wasn't too bad for 11 days. So,
It's amazing like how good the technology was back then. Like, people want to like, give us a hard time for having like, crappy technology, back in like the 90s and early 2000s, but like the technology was actually pretty sick.
yeah, I mean, they recorded that right off the mixing board. So that's where that comes from. Somebody only put it up like a year or two ago. So somewhere it was floating around for like 30 years and somebody's like, "Oh, shit, I got this thing of the Ataris." I don't think they know how early of a show it was for us, but that's as early as it gets. There's no other document out there that shows us that young. So.
That's so dope. Like I feel like I just like I'm getting like goosebumps right now just like thinking about it. Like I feel like I just like went in a time machine and went back to like being like 8, 9 years old. That is
Cool.
absolutely incredible. So last May, you guys dropped a new song, Car Song. How's the response been to it?
It was great. It came out like about 8 months ago, and radio picked it up. It was our first single in 17 years, and radio picked it up, and it charted on the alternative charts. It stayed. The thing about it is, it didn't like slam to the top or anything, but it hung around. So it stayed around number 40, number 50 on the alternative charts for almost 6 months, which was crazy. It was almost better in the longevity of hanging around than it was rocketing to the top and then throwing it out. So yeah, we were pretty stoked on it, and the video was super fun. We made the video, which is like a Breaking Bad homage. And my singer Chris bought the Volvo off of the set of Breaking Bad, and we used the car in the video and do this whole Breaking Bad thing. It's pretty cool.
That's amazing. I'm a big Breaking Bad guy. It's one of my favorite shows. So like that's got a special place in my heart.
Awesome, awesome.
That's awesome. So who did you guys record it with and how was the process?
So the last few years, we've been working with a guy in Arizona named Bob Hogue. Bob was the drummer for a band called the Go Reflex, and also the drummer from a band called Pollen. They were early bands in the more power pop. They were, but he has his own studio there. It's incredible, and Chris feels very comfortable recording with Bob. So everything's done over there, and as far as the Ataris go, Chris is the mastermind behind the songs. Car Song is all him, that song, and it's a song about it's a tribute to his father who worked on making cars in the Midwest at a big factory, and also about driving around the country. He's a big driver. We fly to shows. Chris drives and meets us there. So we just played shows on the East Coast last week, and we all flew out there. But Chris drove his car from Vancouver, where he's been hanging out a lot, all the way out to Washington D.C. to meet the tour.
That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like whenever I listen to it, it makes me just want to get in the car and just, drive out to California or like just, get on a plane and go to Europe or, go up to Canada or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what
That's
that's what we want.
that's absolutely incredible. So what would you say your least favorite and your favorite thing is about the writing and recording process?
Um, Well, my least favorite thing is how long it takes, right? It just you want to hurry. In the early days, we made our records really fast, but now we really take our time, and sometimes I can get impatient with that process. But my favorite thing is the final product, because when you take all that time and you work super hard on something, when it's finally done and it comes out, then it's a beautiful thing. So. I love both things.
Yeah, I think I would really struggle with like, wanting to just get it out as soon as possible, not like taking my time, making sure it's like every single part is 100% and then, go and release it to the world. That and like lyrics. I think I'd really struggle with like coming up with lyrics that don't just relate to me, but relate to like everybody.
Yeah, Chris is very meticulous about the lyrics. He is he had to write lyrics. He has to be completely alone and in silence and get into this headspace where he's not answering the phone. He's not speaking to anybody. So it's something that he really cares about the lyrics that come across for the band, and it shows.
Absolutely. So who would you say your biggest influences are?
Definitely for us, influences would be like The Descendants and Jawbreaker. I mean, I think those are our two biggest influences, and you can hear that a lot on our early records. And then later on, you get into more Smoking Popes, Built to Spill, Weezer, bands like that. When we wanted to maybe go a little bit more pop, that kind of a thing. But Foo Fighters, we love the Foo Fighters. We love Nirvana. For me, Nirvana is a big one. So anything that's heavy but has a punk rock sensibility.
I definitely hear now that I think about it, I definitely hear all that like in your music.
Yeah, thanks, man. We
That's
try to
something that
wear we try to wear our influences on our sleeve.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something I feel like I definitely struggle with is just like, being able to like, compare bands. But I definitely feel like when I listen to you, I can definitely compare it to like, bands like that. So that's really dope.
Cool. Thank you.
So first things first is I was going to go into the non-music questions, but I got one more music question.
Sure.
So, how is the music scene in Santa Barbara? Do you have a favorite local band, a favorite venue?
Well, Santa Barbara, we've moved away from Santa Barbara. We live in LA now, North Hollywood, which is in LA. But Santa Barbara, the greatest band has always been and is still there is Nerf Herder. Nerf Herder is like the epitome of Santa Barbara. We owned a record store for about 5 years in the late '90s, early 2000s, and we named our record store after a Nerf Herder song. And so they're still in Santa Barbara. They're still playing shows. And the only club left there that really is still holding the torch is called Whiskey Richards, and it's still there. If you're in a little punk rock band, you can still play at Whiskey Richards. It's awesome.
So when I come out to see you, I'll have to hit it up.
Yeah, yeah, we have to go out. We have to go out in Santa Barbara for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm in North Hollywood, and my kid, my 15-year-old, goes to art school, and he plays bass, and he loves punk rock and pop punk, and they have a little all ages venue. They play right down the street from their school called Has Heart. And Has Heart's awesome. It's like one of these things, these nonprofit DIY punk rock places that I think it's so cool that these places still are going on, so we have them. I really like that. Whiskey Richards, is a bar. So you can't. My kid can't play there, but it's cool. There's a couple of these DIY punk rock clubs here in LA.
I tell people it's because us, the millennials and then the generation before millennials are keeping it alive, and hopefully, like this new generation, your son's generation will do the same thing.
Gen Z, they call themselves Gen Z. Yeah.
So, who are his influences?
He's dragging me like he just wanted to see the Descendants. So it's almost the same as mine, right? Descendants, except he likes other bands too, like called like Pachinko. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're awesome. They're like a shoegazer band from England. He likes the Front Bottoms. That's another big band. So when we play Riot Fest, I'll be like, okay, we're gonna go see Jawbreaker, and we're gonna go see Weezer, and then he'll be like, okay, we're going to go see Pachinko, and we're going to go see the Front Bottoms. So we've got these two where we're turning each other on to music. He's way ahead of his time, man.
That's so sick. You guys got to compromise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's cool because I meet these other bands that I'd never heard of. I never heard of these bands, but yet they're on the main stage like we are at Riot Fest. And I'm just like, whoa, they're so great. And all the kids know all the lyrics. And so it's super cool that we can share that.
That's my goal someday. Like if I, have a son or daughter or whatever like that, my goal is to like, get them into like punk rock and pop punk and like introduce them to like bands that I grew up with, bands like, Midtown and all those drive-through records bands, Houston Calls, Tokyo Rose, Blink, obviously Newfound Glory. And then, hopefully like, the son or the daughter will be able to introduce me to, new bands.
Yeah, we're going to see on Saturday night, couple days. We're going to see Good Riddance and RKL. So, and he's just jazz. He's the one pushing me. I mean, Good Riddance are friends of mine. We've toured with them for on and off for 30 years. But it's like, and RKL is one of my favorite bands. They're a Santa Barbara band, and so I was like, yeah, they're playing in Ventura. He's like, we gotta go. So he has me like making calls, making sure we can get in the show and stuff. So he's like pushing me even when I'm like, oh, I'm home. I don't really feel like going to a show. He's like, we're going to the show.
That's amazing. He's keeping you young.
He's keeping me young. That's right.
That's amazing. So now I'm going to ask you some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you as a person. I did this with the other bands. Are you ready to roll?
Yeah, go.
All right, first one. If you had the opportunity to either explore the ocean or space, which one and why?
It would definitely be the ocean. I'm a big, I like snorkeling. I like surfing and boogie boarding. So I love fish and everything in the ocean. I don't know if I'd go as deep as say like that Titan sub did, or you know what I mean. I think that's a little extreme, but I definitely prefer the ocean. I am, however, interested in space, and I do keep my eye on space. I'm a big Tom DeLonge proponent of aliens, so I do think aliens are here and they're coming, and we're going to get disclosure. But you know, that's a whole nother topic. But I don't know if I want to go out there myself.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool to see like the stars and like Saturn and Mars and see like, a black hole. That'd be really dope. But I'm with you. I'm a big beach guy. I love the ocean. It's just super relaxing and super pop punk. And
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be cool to see like, old, pieces that belong to the Titanic. Like that'd be really sick, and see ships from like, the 1200s. Like that would be really dope. I'm a history nerd, so like that would be really, really sick. So I'm with you on the ocean.
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
Very cool. So, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, wow. Um, that's a hard question. My son asks me that sometimes too, but you know, um, I really like you're like The Godfather. That's a great movie. Anything Coppola, right? I like anything Scorsese. I think the great filmmakers are they're great at their art for a reason, and so I think Sophia Coppola. I think she's great too. Virgin Suicides is a great movie. So I think there's a lot of good movies, but that's hard to pick out. There's like 100 that I like the best, but you
So, which
know,
Godfather is your favorite? If
I,
you
I
have to
like
pick one.
Godfather 2. I like number 2 because I dig the De Niro, the backstory coming in of him, how he came to America. I think that's the best one. I do. And
With yeah,
three's a nah.
I think the second one had the best storyline. The third one I feel like was just not needed. I mean, the first one's classic because you get
Right.
introduced to like the Godfather and his kids and all that. But yeah, I think the second one had the best storyline. So I'm definitely with you on that one.
Awesome.
So, what's your favorite childhood memory?
Oh wow. Probably how I got my first base. I was 12 years old, and I was hanging out with a group of kids that were all playing music, and everyone was a drummer or a guitar player, and nobody had a bass. So I was like, "Fuck it." I wanted to be a singer, but a PA was too expensive. So I was like, "Fuck it. I'm gonna get a bass. I'm gonna get a bass. That way we can make a band, right?" So I went back then, it was before the internet. I went to the local want ads in the back of the paper. I found this bass a Yamaha, was red. It was like, my dad said, find something less than 200 bucks. It was like 250 bucks. So I go, okay, I'm gonna get this bass. I gave it to my dad. He's like, okay, call the guy. I'm like, what, me? Call the guy? Why me? I thought you were gonna do it. So I call the guy up. I'm just a little kid. I'm all, oh man, I want this bass. He's like, come on over, man. He's like, come buy it. So I tell my dad, he drives me to this address. I wait outside, and he goes, okay, go in and get it. I started crying in the car. I was 12. I was like, I can't do this by myself. He's like, you can do this. So he gave me money, and I counted the money. There was only $160. I said, Dad, the thing is 250 bucks. And I was bawling, please, you can take my Christmas present. You can ground me, whatever you want. He's all, take the 160 bucks and tell the dude this is all you want. This is all you got. So I dried my tears. I went up to the door, knock on the door. This total heavy metaler stoner guy answers the phone. A cloud of weed smoke answers the door. Cloud of weed smoke hits me. I walk in, I see it in the corner. He's like, there it is. And I tried to act like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know shit. And I go, this is all I got. I gave him the 160 bucks. He's all, killer. That was it. And I got the base. So that was a lifelong lesson. I went out there and I was like, oh shit, my dad was right. So
The story is that your dad was able to get you out of your comfort zone.
yeah, he taught me how to hustle too. You know what I mean? So, and that was a big deal. He ended up dying in a car accident when I was 19. So, you know, the years that I had him are huge life lessons for me.
That's sick. I personally would have like chickened out, just be like, yeah, I can't do this. Like I'm gonna, like pee my pants or whatever like that. But that's wild that like, it was just like drummers and like guitarists because now it's like, you have tons of bassists, you have tons of guitarists, but there's like no drummers.
No drummers now. I know my kid has the same problem at his school. He's like I said, he goes to an art school. They play. That's what they do, and the drummer situation is light. Yeah,
That's why I
but
tell people like that I need to get. So I started learning how to play drums almost 2 years ago, and I tell
yeah,
people I was like, this is why I need to get a lot better, so then I can help out, like 20 bands.
right, right, right. I like it.
So we'll see what happens. So
Okay.
if you had $1 million and you could donate it to any charity, which one?
Oh, if I could donate to I'd probably donate it. I'd probably be for people, like to feed people. However, I could feed people. I mean, I live in LA and I see a lot of people that are having a hard time. And there's a lot of homeless people, either that or for mental health. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. And I really, my wife works as a victims advocate for the Los Angeles court, the district attorney's office of Los Angeles. And what she does is she helps people of violent crimes that have crimes committed on them, victims. She helps them navigate the legal system with victim assistance and communicating with their attorneys and getting to court so they can get justice. So, I would throw it right back into that zone where we need to help victims of crime. We need to help feed people. We need to help people. You know what I mean? I mean, I love animals and the ocean and everything else, but I think first and foremost, there's people suffering everywhere we look.
Mental health would be really good right now with like technology and social media taking over and like, which is leading to all these kids, like specifically like, getting like, really like messed up mentally from like, constantly looking at screens and just like bullying and all that. So I definitely feel you on that. I think that would be, all those would be really sick.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, last question. What are some places there that visitors should check out?
Um, Here in LA,
Yeah.
yeah, you think here in LA? Everybody should go to we have the Griffith Observatory. I'm sure you've seen it in movies and everything, but it's an amazing place and it's a hike and it's old Hollywood, but I love Hollywood, right? And I love the Magic Castle. I think everybody, if you haven't heard about the Magic Castle is like a private club that they do magic shows. It's a old mansion that's on a hill in Hollywood, and you can go room to room. And one room, there's like six bars, two theaters, all in this giant mansion they built. And you can go room to room, and there's magicians in every one, and they're constantly doing card tricks or magic shows or things like that. And it's really super. It's not as hard. It's private, but it's not as hard to get an invite as you would think, and it's something that everybody should see. And they do like a magic school and cool shit like that. I have a couple friends that are magicians, and I get to go to the castle every once in a while, and it's like one of these things that most people don't know about, but is super rad.
That's so sick. That's right up
Yeah,
my alley. So when
yeah.
I come out to see you,
Google
we
the
can hit that up too.
Google the Magic Castle. You got to Google it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'll check it out after this and I'll report back.
All right. Cool.
That's
Awesome.
so dope. Well, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting up with me, and support means the world to me.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'd like to say a few things. Our new record comes out next year, and it's comes out like we have a new single coming out at the end of this year in the fall. The new record comes out in March of next year, so about 11 months from now. The same with my book. It's called The Hero Dies in This One. So check that out too, and be looking for us out there. We're playing Welcome to Rockville and Louder Than Life and Warped Tour in Los Angeles, Montreal, and Mexico City, and lots of cool stuff.
Well, yeah, do what the man says. Go and buy his book. Go buy a CD, buy a shirt, support a vinyl, support local music. Mike, you guys are crushing it. Keep up the dope work.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you.
Of course, I hope you have a great day, and we'll chat soon.
I'll see you soon. Hit me up.
Peace.
All right. Thanks, man.